What an honor to have been asked to come and make a speech at this Mr. Speaker's round table breakfast meeting. Mr. Speaker's lately really determined he must have all manner of round tables. And he probably will end up with some rectangular ones as well. But the private sector, I know, when he took them to Mombasa, in order to be able to have that interaction between Parliament and the private sector, I know, Mr. Speaker, they truly continue to appreciate. And therefore, this roundtable meeting is very timely. But I remember in 1993 that I was actually asked by the then President Moi, because I was his foreign minister between the years 1993 and 97, that I do a very important thing. I recall that I was actually the first chair of the ministerial tripartite commission that was set up by the heads of state to be able to jumpstart the East African community. That time it was partnership. Nobody even thought about the community. And I remember then the foreign minister of Uganda was Mr. Rugunda, and the foreign minister of Tanzania was Mr. Rengasira, even ahead of President Jakaya Kikwete. And we actually met at the KICC, and there was such tension in the region, particularly between Kampala and Nairobi, that when we were able to resolve that first thing and we put our ministers together, we recommended, said we must pick up the pieces and move on. And therefore, this morning then, I feel that I'm actually talking as an East African. I'm indeed very proud of the progress made thus far in reviving, expanding, and charting a new future for the East African community over the last few years. I'm particularly honored to have been part of the process of reinstating the community after the unfortunate breakaway of 1977. And if we remember, Europeans were able to borrow from East Africa and then were able to fashion today what has become the European Union. It was first a community, a commission, and I think we are almost catching up with them yet again. Had the initial dream of our founding fathers, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, Mwalimu Nyerere, and Milton Obote on the East African community prospered, I'm sure this assembly will be a showcase of regional integration in Africa today. Nonetheless, I believe we still have a chance to pick up the East African dream, thankfully restarted back in 1999 by former Presidents Daniel Arap Moi of Kenya, Benjamin Mkapa of Tanzania, and Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. The more recent expansion of the original East Africa bloc to include Rwanda and Burundi in 2007 is testimony to the prospects the community holds for the region into the future. And again, I recall the days we actually took a decision to put in place economic blockade against Burundi. At that time, our chairman was the late Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, when we had to resolve this matter of Burundi. And how I wish that I would have been able to attend the recent inauguration, second term, of President of Burundi. But then, you recall, my friend Moses Wetangula had to go because the following day we were promulgating our new constitution. But we had the time to congratulate our brothers and sisters from Burundi. They have come a long way. And one of the things that we were very clear about is before you become a member of the East African community, you have to decide that you're going to have to really give primacy of place to peace in your own country. And you now can see how attractive East Africa has become. Major milestones have been achieved in the last 10 years of the reinstituted East African community. Within the first 5 years, the customs union came into being. And this was not easy. I recall before we signed the customs union protocol, we had midnight burning the midnight oil, literally, because we had to look at the list of the sensitive items. We had the business community basically in East Africa at their issues. And we were able to, again, stand up to the challenge. And then we had in place the customs union. Itself a major breakthrough. and precursor to the common market that was unveiled, as we know, on July 1st, 2010. Lest we forget, the consultations and work that preceded the landmark breakthroughs achieved thus far, as actually those consultations have been phenomenal. All those who made it happen, and in particular the honorable members gathered here today from the Kenyan side of IALA, deserve our highest commendation for a job well done. Mr. Speaker, it is noteworthy that the Customs Union has so far revolutionized the regional tariff regime dramatically and opened doors for increased interstate trade within a more regulated and level ground environment. Elimination of internal tariffs, enforcement of common external tariff, and removal of non-tariff barriers. I hope that has actually been achieved, because the non-tariff barriers we all knew were the major hindrance to East African integration. And therefore, this, we, across member states, I hope that we've been able to remove them, and this is another commendable effort.